A lot of people think that you need to lift super heavy to build muscle. So in this video, I'm gonna explain why you don't need to lift as heavy as you might think. But what's up guys, welcome to the video. If this is your first time here, my name's David. On this channel, we talk about building habits and routines for a better mind and body. I'm putting out a new video each week, and moving forward, the videos are gonna focus more on bodybuilding and helping you guys get the physique that you want. So if you're into that, consider subscribing to the channel, or just keep coming back so you don't miss anything. Most guys who start working out pretty much have the same goal. Something like you wanna build muscle and lose fat at the same time. There are so many different training programs that you can follow, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you just pick one and stick to it. Consistency is always gonna take you further than any specific workout plan. Before I get into this question of how heavy you should lift, let me say that this video doesn't apply to powerlifters and people that primarily want to increase strength. If you wanna lift heavy, obviously you're gonna have to lift heavy. And I don't know much about powerlifting, so if that's what you want to do, then take someone else's advice. But if you don't really care about the amount of weight that you're moving or the numbers that you're putting up, make sure to keep watching this video because I'm going to explain exactly why you don't need to lift nearly as heavy as you think you do to build an awesome physique. And by the way, lifting heavy is all relative. So what's heavy for you might be lightweight for someone else, and vice versa. What's heavy for someone else might be lightweight for you. That's why it's not a good idea to just hang with people you see at the gym and try to copy what they're doing as far as how much weight they're lifting. I think where the problem comes from is you'll see someone on Instagram lifting a shit ton of weight, and you think, I want to look like that, so I must have to lift like that, without understanding that person might be a lot further along on their fitness journey than you, or the weight they're using might not even be that heavy for them. It just looks heavy because it's heavier than anything you can lift. Also, lifting heavy is subjective. It's not like once you get to a certain amount, once I can start benching 315, I am officially lifting heavy now. It all depends on what your body can handle. So next time you're at the gym, do yourself a huge favor, leave your ego at the door. I know it's hard. You don't want to look weak in front of people. You want to show people how strong you are. Believe me, I get it. I used to stack on as many plates as possible to try to impress people and show them how strong I was. But the sooner that you can just forget about the amount of weight you're lifting, the sooner you can lift with good form and actually build a solid foundation to work on. After you're done warming up, grab some weights that you can do 20 reps with. If you don't know what that amount is for you, you need to experiment and find out what that is. It doesn't matter if you're just benching the bar in the beginning, you gotta start somewhere. Again, don't be afraid of looking weak in front of people. It's all in your head. Chances are no one's even paying attention. So if you can do that first set of 20 pretty easily, then grab a pair of weights that's about 10 to 20 pounds heavier, rest for a couple minutes, and then do your second set. Now, depending on how easy that first set was, this next set you should be able to do anywhere from 15 to 20 reps. You might be thinking, 20 reps? Isn't that way too light? The whole point of this is not to exert maximum effort. It's to learn what your baseline is and learn how to use good form. When you're constantly in that mode of, I need to lift as heavy as possible, it's really easy to compromise on form. And oftentimes it goes unnoticed. It happens so slowly over time, and your body actually learns the wrong way to do the movement. Your body is very good at compensating, and you'll find a way to get the weight from point A to point B. But the thing is, we want to learn how to do the movement so we use the right muscle for that lift. One example of how using bad form was messing me up is when I did bicep curls, I would do them with my shoulders rolled forward, and I would use momentum to get the weight from point A to point B. Because the weight was so heavy that's what I had to do to get the weight moving. I was stronger than I ever was doing bicep curls like this, but I figured out that I had to fix my form to progress. So rather than rolling my shoulders forward, I had to learn how to roll my shoulders back into place, keep my elbows fixed at my sides where my ribs are, and don't move anything except my arms. And what happened was my strength went down a lot. I had to cut the weight I was doing pretty much in half, but what that allowed me to do was build a solid foundation, and I was able to get stronger from that point. Another thing that lifting lighter allows you to do is fix your muscle imbalances. So one example of this for me was I used to slouch more on my left side than my right side. My left shoulder would be drooped down more than my right. I would see it in pictures and I would wonder why I would look so imbalanced. Keep in mind, during this time, I was as strong as I ever was, but I wasn't sure why my left side couldn't catch up. So in order to fix these imbalances, the best way to do it is just to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. Lower the amount of weight that you're lifting and then build on that. Now I want to make something very clear. Just because I'm saying that you don't need to lift that heavy, you still need to lift heavy. What? You have to go into each workout with the mindset of, I'm trying to beat my last workout. So in that way, yes, you have to lift heavy, you have to try hard. The only way your muscles grow is through progressive overload. In layman's terms, that's pretty much make your muscles work harder than last time. But there are so many other ways to do it more than simply lifting heavier. You could do more reps or more sets. You could shorten your rest period between each set. You can go slower and increase the time under tension or do drop sets. There are so many different ways to do it. It's not just about getting the weight from point A to point B, which is often what happens when you're lifting heavy. It's about paying attention to how each set feels and making the set more difficult. It's not just about getting stronger or lifting heavier, it's about focusing on the muscle. Here's how to know how heavy you're lifting. Start tracking how many reps you can do on each set before you hit failure. This is a guideline. If you can do 20 reps, that's considered lightweight. If you can do 8 to 15, we'll call that moderate. If you can only do 3 to 5 reps, then that's what I mean when I say lifting heavy. It doesn't matter how heavy or light you think the weight is or what it appears like, because if you can only do 3 to 5 reps with it, then by definition, that is lifting heavy. And I'm not saying that you should never try to do sets of 3, but what I am saying is that if your focus is building muscle and you don't really care about the amount of weight that you're lifting, then why put yourself in all that risk? There are much safer, more effective ways to build muscle than focusing on lifting as heavy as possible. At that point, all you're really getting is an ego boost. And some people might disagree with me on that. It's just my opinion, what I've experienced. I've been lifting for well over a decade, never had any serious lifting injuries. I can do all the movements, no problem. And a big reason for that is I never really cared about how heavy I was lifting. Like, when are you ever gonna need to lift 500 pounds in real life? You trying to play tug of war with a gorilla? Trying to lift your refrigerator off the ground? At a certain point, you gotta weigh the risk to reward. If you wanna lift weights for a long time, I'm not talking like 5 years, I'm talking 10, 20, 30 years, you gotta think about longevity and being smart about it rather than focusing on getting a new PR. So that's gonna do it for the video, you guys. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. This is David. Until next time, see ya.